What's going on, good peoples? Welcome back to the channel. It is yours truly, Mike, here with you. And as always, it is always greatly appreciated when you check out my channel, like a video, subscribe, and always leave a comment down in the comment section. I see plenty of you guys' comments and I enjoy seeing them, interacting with them, having a conversation. You guys are very funny. To say the least, you guys are hilarious. But without further ado, I think it's time to finally put some respect on this NFL team, and it's finally time to talk about it. I waited patiently because it's like I was watching from the shadows, but I think it's finally time we put some respect and say they are legit. That the New England Patriots, the team that kind of fell off after Tom Brady left and Bill Belichick was, still coaching a little bit here and there before he finally left to go to North Carolina. Well, actually just left, then went to North Carolina, but I think it's finally time to put some respect and say that the New England Patriots are legit. Now, if we look at things from this past weekend, they improved to 8-2. In all reality, they probably should be about 9-1. They had a couple, turnovers in the Pittsburgh Steelers game that shouldn't have happened. Even though some of those turnovers did take place, the opportunity to win the game was definitely still there, but a loss is a loss. They're now 8-2, but they play a lot of teams close. And at one point we were saying the Steelers look really good. When Lamar went out, the Steelers were looking pretty good. They played them close. Despite those couple of turnovers, they were still trying to, the New England Patriots were still trying to hang in there. But depending on how many turnovers you got, whoever wins the turnover battle is definitely going to win that game, even in any aspect of football. It could be college or NFL. Whoever is winning the turnover battle will win the game. But the reason why, I'm going to keep trending forward and praising them because they also played a tough game in Buffalo against the Buffalo Bills and won that game. And I told several people, if the New England Patriots can split the Buffalo Bills, they're going to have a good season. That's all they had to do. They just had to split them in this season. And let's say they lose at home to the Buffalo Bills later on in the season. I think they'll still be okay. Buffalo Bills will be playing for a little bit more at that current point in time. We just saw they lost to the Miami Dolphins, so they'll be coming a little bit more hungrier toward the end of the toward later in the season versus the Patriots. Of course, I think we all would like to see if they could sweep them, but that is what we all have to see. But we also another thing I definitely want to harp on is they also played a really tough close game against the They also played a really tough close game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We also have to remember that yes, it was a banged up Tampa Bay team. You didn't have Chris Godwin, you didn't have Mike Evans, but you still had Ed Buka. And without those two assets that the Buccaneers had, they were still moving the ball on the Patriots. They were still making some points, scoring some points, doing a lot of key things for them, but they were able to pull off with that win. And I feel like that's a very big thing because the Buccaneers make the playoffs almost consistently for the past 5 years, I believe. They've been making the playoffs consistently. And they've been I would like to think they've been one of the top teams in the NFC. And then on top of that, we also have to remember, stay with me. They beat the Falcons. Yes, I know the Falcons have been kind of up and down, but on paper, their roster is full of talent. Drake London toward the end of the game, yes, they start sneaking back into it. But Drake London, Kyle Pitts is starting to show up. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, they have a lot of key talented weapons. Even on defense, Jesse Bates, Ellis, one of the linebackers, they have AJ Terrell as well. They have a lot of key weapons, talented weapons on that team, just as a whole. So a win over them is also good as well. It also kind of shakes up things, I personally believe, in the NFC because I don't know if it'll matter, but it also shake up some things in the NFC because the Falcons and the Bucs are in the same division. But that's neither here nor there. Back to the main point at hand, I would just like to highlight the consistency that we have seen from the couple losses that we have seen so far. Earlier in the season against Pittsburgh, going back into it, Pittsburgh and the Las Vegas Raiders. I know a couple people were kind of worried. I myself was a little worried watching them. I'm like, oh, we're losing to the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, I felt like, they were a little bit more talented, a little bit more capable, coming out, like looking at it at the beginning of the season. But they've really shown a lot of consistency. And I think it really dates back to what all they did in the offseason. Picking up Milton Williams and beefing up the defensive line. Carlton Davis on the other side of Christian Gonzalez. They really beefed up the defense. And I've always said this since the last couple years Tom Brady was there. They have always lacked or they've been short a receiver. And I feel like now with the addition of Stephon Diggs, Demario Douglas, what's his name? Drawing a blank. He just escaped my mind. Matt Hollins. The addition of Matt Hollins, you're getting a lot of key contributors and a lot of guys who are just buying in and playing their role. Everybody's getting the ball. Even Hunter Henry's getting the ball. It's a lot of things going on in that offense. And you got some consistent running backs. Travion Henderson picking up the load since Ramondre Stevenson is out. You love to see this. And like I said, it goes back to what they did in the offseason. They attacked it hard. Got Will Campbell at left tackle. Things kind of shifted around once free agency hit at the end of last season. So you go out there and get Will Campbell. That's a good addition to the offensive line. Yes, he's a rookie, but he's looking good. And like I said before, Stephon Diggs, Matt Hollins, Milton Williams, and Carlton Davis. A lot of things are just stacking together, and it's becoming a very promising season. And all in all, it's too early to say if this team is definitely going to be a Super Bowl team. I feel like that's very tough to say because, as you know, and I know, anything can happen in football. One team could start off really high at the beginning of the season. By the time we get to the end of the season, that team could be completely different. I mean, look at this past weekend. The Miami Dolphins beat the Buffalo Bills. I would have thought the Buffalo Bills would sweep them this year, but they ended up losing that game. So that's why I say you just got to play it. It's a different game. Every team is a different team. They play completely different versus how they played another team last week. So that's why I say you got to show up every single given day. So it's very tough for me to say that this is a Super Bowl bound team. They're automatically going to go to the Super Bowl. But I do believe this is a top 10 team, 100%. And I think it's finally time to say it and officially acknowledge it with what they're doing, how they're executing, how they're rallying, especially in the locker room and around each other. Drake May will have a couple interceptions, but they don't quit. They don't get down. Things happen. It's part of football. The other team's gonna make plays too. They still rally around each other and they still go out there and execute. And that's why I personally feel they are definitely a top 10 team. So far in the season. I know we're about almost a little bit over halfway. It's a long season, but it's also going by fast. But I think it's comfortable to say that in this current state right now. But as always, you guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys think, your personal opinions about how the New England Patriots are doing. Are they legit to you? Everybody has different opinions. But let me know down in the comments. And as always, I appreciate you guys for checking out the channel. Leave a like, like I just previously said, leave a comment, and I will catch you guys